From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
And thank you for joining us here on this Christmas Eve. I'm Mark Mullins. Now at 11, a major healthcare system says it fell short following the COVID-19 death of a local physician. Nursing home residents and their families are preparing for vaccinations to begin in long-term care facilities. And churches are pivoting their Christmas plans to continue tradition while keeping everyone safe. But first tonight at 11, a look at what you can expect Christmas morning with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Kevin.
And how about this? As we drift off to sleep tonight, a dusting of snow. So there's a little snow smile I just carved on my back deck. Maybe you have a dusting at your house as well. It's going nowhere because temperatures are cold, cold, cold. It's 14 in Lafayette, 14 in Peru, Indianapolis at 15. We're headed close to the single digits. Okay, kids around, I caught this just a couple minutes ago on our Weather Now camera. Santa making a quick flyover. He's bound for somewhere. He'll be back, I'm sure. There are the snow showers in central Indiana. These are all very light, providing a dusting in the morning. We'll wake up to 11 degrees in the metro area. Some spots may well reach the single digits to start the day. And a modest recovery. Only 20 for the high tomorrow with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. 15 at noon. We'll talk about our quick and significant warm-up for the weekend and what happens next week coming up.
We are following a developing story in Waverly near the Morgan-Johnson County line. Bargersville police are looking for a person of interest after a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old were shot and killed at a gas station early this morning. Another victim was seriously hurt. Police are looking for 18-year-old Levi Bradley Camplin. Anyone with information is asked to call police. The death of a local physician is highlighting concerns about racial disparities in the healthcare system. Dr. Susan Moore died Sunday from complications of coronavirus. Earlier this month, she recorded a video from her IU Health North hospital bed, saying her doctor repeatedly ignored her complaints about pain and wanted to send her home.
I was in so much pain from my neck. My neck hurt so bad. I was crushed. He made me feel like I was a drug addict, and he knew I was a physician.
Dr. Moore was discharged from IU Health North on December 7th and was home for 12 hours before her son had to call an ambulance to take her to a different hospital. Her son told ABC News she received better treatment at Ascension St. Vincent, but her health continued to deteriorate. The president and CEO of IU Health is requesting an external review of Dr. Moore's treatment conducted by healthcare and diversity experts. In a long letter, Dennis Murphy says in part, quote, "I am fully confident in our medical team and their expertise to treat complex medical cases. I do not believe that we failed the technical aspects of the delivery of Dr. Moore's care. I am concerned, however, that we may not have shown the level of compassion and respect that we strive for in understanding what matters most to patients," end quote. Back in October, IU Health was one of 3 central Indiana hospital systems to declare racism a public health crisis. In Murphy's statement, he says Dr. Moore's story will stay with him and fuel his motivation to create a truly equitable healthcare system. According to the State Department of Health, more than 3,000 Hoosiers were hospitalized with COVID-19 as of Wednesday. The department's daily update includes 85 additional COVID-19 deaths and about 6,300 new positive cases. About 24% of Hoosiers getting tested for COVID-19 for the first time are testing positive. That's according to an average of the state's 7-day positivity rate. As Indiana and other states deal with uncontrolled spread of COVID, more than 1 million Americans have received either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, and so far only frontline healthcare workers have received the vaccine in Indiana. Many of you have reached out wondering when you can get a vaccine if you have a health condition or are an essential worker. The CDC says that those groups should be vaccinated next, but so far Indiana has not received nearly enough doses to get through phase 1 of distribution. As we learn more from state officials about vaccine deliveries and when you can get a shot, we'll keep you updated on air and at WRTV.com. Under phase 1 of Indiana's distribution plan, residents of long-term care facilities will start getting vaccinated next week. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker shows you the vaccine is giving families some hope that it will soon be safer to spend time in person with their loved ones.
this figure of stability in your family, and then have them kind of pulled away and feel like, especially since she's 100, feel like that you're kind of missing out on the end of her life, and that's truly very hard.
That's what Stephanie Jenkins and her family have been going through for 10 months. Her grandmother, Roberta Nelson, affectionately called Meemaw, lives in a long-term care facility in Carmel. Stephanie shared pictures of happier times with her family when they were able to visit Roberta. But without visitors, Stephanie feels like her grandma is on the decline.
She has lost some of her memory and struggled with, I believe, the isolation of the pandemic, being away from family.
Despite the circumstances, they were determined to make sure Roberta had a great 100th birthday. We were there earlier this month as her family marked the special occasion with the all-too-familiar window visits. At the time, not only was Roberta celebrating her 100th birthday, but also dealing with COVID-19, something that has been ongoing for most of this month.
Last week, she had one negative test and now again has tested positive.
Vaccine news couldn't have come at a better time for this family, waiting anxiously for their loved one to get vaccinated and hopefully be able to see Roberta in person again.
They said that it looked like maybe the 1st of January that it might be possible. They're working with the pharmacy to see when they can get vaccinated.
Are you reserving some of that happiness and hopefulness until you know for sure that you can go and see her in person?
You know, I believe you always have to have hope. And so I think that we all hold on to the hope that we will be able to see her again. I'm hoping to get the vaccine myself, and maybe we can all put this behind us.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
The TSA says Wednesday was the busiest air travel day of the pandemic so far. It topped Sunday after Thanksgiving with 1.2 million people flying. Today at Indianapolis International Airport, things were certainly busier than they have been recently. Health experts are worried the increases will lead to another big surge of the virus. Throughout the pandemic, houses of worship have had to adjust services and events to keep congregants safe and comply with COVID restrictions. WRTV's Cameron Riddle shows you how one Indianapolis church is celebrating Christmas and its 100th anniversary without anyone stepping foot inside.
The Spanish flu was from 1918, 1920. Eastern Star Church was born in 1920. So we started in a pandemic, and now here it is, 2020. We're back in a pandemic.
A full century after first opening its doors, Eastern Star Church is celebrating 100 years of service while keeping its physical doors closed, this time during the coronavirus pandemic.
So Eastern Star Church, pandemics are no secret to us. We know how to survive and thrive during the pandemic.
Senior Pastor Jeffrey Johnson says this is the first time in the church's history the doors of the sanctuary will be closed on Christmas Day, with the service celebrating the birth of Christ relocated to a virtual space online.
There'll still be a message about him loving us so much to come to this world and bless us. So that's what Christmas has been. That's what it's going to be. We just won't be doing it on site. We'll be doing it online.
While the inside of the church has been closed for most of 2020, the church has been active nonstop in the community, from launching one of the county's first COVID testing sites to providing more than 200,000 meals during the pandemic, helping students during e-learning by providing laptops and scholarships, and even assisting Hoosiers with rent and mortgage payments.
For us, that is celebrating Christmas.
Whether in person or online, Johnson says this year's Christmas Day service will be exactly what is needed to bring 2020 to a close.
We'll still have music singing about the birth of our Savior. It'll still be celebration, even in the midst of a pandemic and social injustice and systemic racism. We're still going to celebrate the birth of our Savior.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
And at St. Christopher Catholic Church and Speedway, parishioners were given the option of drive-through communion tonight if they didn't feel comfortable attending Mass. The church also offered 3 Masses this evening. Attendance was capped at 350 people, but at the first 2 Masses, just a third of that number attended. In a normal year, Mass attendance can be anywhere from more than 650 to over 1,000. With warnings from officials to stay home this holiday season, many are alone and might feel isolated. And that's why one Indianapolis businessman says that his third annual event is more important now than ever. Take a look at these. 200 care bags filled with Jack's Donuts, coffee, and a note. Earlier this afternoon, Needhammer Coffee and Events General Manager John Hobelman held a COVID-friendly pickup. Volunteers pitched in to help, and elves came by for pickup. The idea is for elves to deliver the care bags to those in need of a little extra love this holiday season.
Christmas is a time, no matter what your belief is, it's a time for people to come together, and we can't do coffee, donuts, and love like we have in previous years. But this is a way for us to let people know, hey, somebody out there is thinking about you, you matter, and we care about you.
More bags will be handed out tomorrow from noon to 3. Needhammer Coffee is on East Washington Street, by the way. There's also a GoFundMe working to collect $1,500 to cover the costs of the bags. Still ahead, no help for the holidays. We're still waiting on a decision from lawmakers and the president about a pandemic relief bill while financial support runs out. Something to keep in mind about new Christmas toys and the best way to check for possible safety hazards when WRTV News at 11 continues.
Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
A trickle-down impact of the pandemic to keep in mind as new gifts are opened on Christmas. According to one investigation, toy safety inspections are down this year, and some experts are concerned. A USA Today investigation uncovered for 6 months, toy inspectors were pulled due to the pandemic threat. The investigation also uncovered that for 5 months, there were significantly fewer violation issues, only 25% compared to previous years. We spoke with Janine Bobenmeyer, Chief Mom Officer of City Moms, about this report. She says she was surprised and offered some tips about presents under the tree.
Tap into your community first. That is kind of our number one go-to for our city moms. And by that, I mean, reach out to your community and say, hey, this is what we got. Does anyone else notice this? Does anyone else have any questions?
Bobenmeyer stressed the importance of being your own advocate for you and your children. She says if something seems off, say something by reaching out to the manufacturer or to the seller. The holidays mean a break from work for some, but Central Indiana healthcare workers are still stretched thin, taking care of near-record numbers of COVID-19 patients. Today, frontline workers at Franciscan Health on the south side received a surprise delivery to help them get through the day. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum shows you how the community came together to bring cheer to some of the healthcare heroes.
The tree is up and the holidays are here. But inside Franciscan Health, employees are still hard at work, caring for patients and keeping the hospital running.
We're just here to do our job. So, we all signed up for this. So, just here to provide the best care we can.
Kevin Kamimia is a nurse in the COVID unit. Today, he was surprised to find out all of these boxed lunches were donated to hospital staff.
Little things like this help, get through the day.
It just means a lot to the workers here on the front lines.
And 400 of them here today got one of these meals.
And we're covering everybody from environmental services and security, pharmacy, on up to all the COVID units.
Joan Heimbrook is the community outreach coordinator for oncology here. She worked with Market District Carmel, a local church, and a mortgage lender to make this Christmas Eve surprise happen.
It's always important to remember people who are working on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, because obviously that's a time for family and a time to be together. But this year it means so much more because nobody likes to be in the hospital on Christmas working or as a patient, but for this year especially, we're just really battling the pandemic and people are tired. And it just means a lot more, I think, this year than ever to make sure that people know they're appreciated for their hard work.
Showing care and spreading cheer to those employees here who do that exact thing every day for patients and their families, even during the pandemic.
Knowing people still care about us outside in the community, because in the beginning there was a lot of outpour, giving food and things like that, donations. But as time went on, it kind of slowed down, but to see something like this come back again feels good.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
You might have noticed some snow earlier today. Well, that will not be enough for a white Christmas, which the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration defines as having 1 inch or more of snow on the ground on Christmas morning. NOAA found only about a dozen states have more than a 70% chance of waking up to snow each year. Still, it was really nice to see that snow falling, Kevin. Festive snow, I think, is what Todd Clausen calls it.
It's exactly what it is, and we've had a dusting, and by that standard mark of 1 inch or more on the ground for a white Christmas, technically, we only reach that about 30% of the time. But if you take a dusting like we have now, that's 50 to 60% of the time. Cold everywhere. We never warmed up today. We won't really warm up tomorrow, but then game changes as we get to the weekend. It's 13 right now in Tipton. 19 in Bedford. Temperature in Richmond about ready to lead the way into the single digits. Potentially they're at 11. And you can see many spots not far from the predicted low. I just think there won't be a lot of change because of the cloud cover that's in place. That'll hold these temperatures just about anywhere from 9 to 12 degrees in the morning. Wind chills about 3 below, and you will wake up to that dusting of snow. Friday, the coldest day in the 7-day forecast, and look what happens, how quickly we jump Saturday, and we peak on Sunday with temperatures in the middle to upper 40s, and it will be a dry stretch as we go through the weekend. Still likely to see some flurries potentially during the morning hours tomorrow. Just shy of 40 degrees with sunshine Saturday. Clouds take back over on Sunday, but the temperature warms to 47. It's a cold west-northwest wind through the day tomorrow. At least we'll have some sunshine. I think we'll be patient. More clouds in the morning, more sunshine in the afternoon on Christmas. Temperatures no warmer than about 21 or 22. Most areas to the north. As you get closer to the state line with Michigan, we'll stay in the teens. There's your breakdown of the weekend. Warmer second half of the weekend. Any rain should hold off until Sunday night the way it looks. Temperatures will be in the middle to upper 40s as we mentioned. During the day Saturday, we'll have more sunshine. Temperature in the upper 30s. There are high temperatures around all of central Indiana. We jump back to average or a little above average. Sunday, 47. We have the rain Sunday night. As we get to Monday, there'll be a chance for a little light snow. Overnight rain Sunday, mixing with or changing to some light snow on Monday morning. Here's your 7-day forecast. As we mentioned, it does turn colder after Sunday. 33 Monday, 34 Tuesday. Rain around in the middle of next week, and then as we get to the day before New Year's, 38 with a chance for some snow next Thursday. Mark?
You mean the last day of 2020. All right, thanks, Kevin. Families across the country are facing a tough Christmas because of the financial toll of the pandemic. And it's hard to tell when relief might be on the way because of a gridlock between Congress and the president. Today, House Republicans blocked a unanimous consent measure that would have provided $2,000 direct cash payments to Americans. That's one of the requests the president announced via Twitter video earlier this week. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is urging the president to sign the bill. If the original stimulus bill is signed into law, $600 checks will be sent to each person. Tonight, Alicia Nieves has a closer look at what the bill does and does not provide.
The motion to concur is agreed to.
The latest stimulus package passed by Congress is one of the longest bills to be pushed so quickly through the Senate and the House.
This bill is too long, too complicated.
Thea Lee is the president of the Economic Policy Institute and says the $900 billion package will provide an instant jolt to our economy, extending unemployment benefits and enhancing them by $300 a week, while also issuing a $600 stimulus check and $25 billion for housing and eviction protection. However, those benefits only take up a couple of pages in the nearly 5,600-page bill.
There are things in there that don't belong in there.
We consider this a first step.
As more experts comb through the lengthy legislation, the list of non-pandemic related funding and measures grows.
None of us think any of this legislation is perfect.
Some of it are things that are not COVID related, like horse race commissions and so on. But some of what's in there shouldn't be in the bill because it's helping either people or businesses that don't need the help.
For example, there's a tax break on alcohol, an industry that has actually thrived during the pandemic, and a tax break for what's been dubbed the 3 martini lunch.
A deduction for business people who are having expensive lunches out. That's been expanded in this bill.
For all the non-pandemic related measures squeezed into this latest deal, there is surprise in what did not make it in.
The most important thing that's not in the COVID bill that should have been in is aid to state and local governments. If they don't get more aid from the federal government, they will start laying off workers.
Also not in the bill was an extension on the student loan payment pause and no transparency requirement tied to small business PPP loans.
The Department of Justice has actually indicted 57 individuals so far with stealing over $175 million from the PPP program.
RJ Cross is with the government watchdog organization, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, and says transparency was critical to making sure PPP loan money goes to actual small businesses in need.
Congress largely squandered that opportunity to strengthen some of those measures that would help increase public trust in the PPP program.
Well, I hope that Congress will come back in 2021 and take up the elements that are missing from this bill.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Rivers.com.
Welcome back. Several Colts players have spent the holidays giving back to their hometowns. For defensive lineman Sheldon Day, it's extra special as his hometown is right here in Indy. Earlier this week, Sheldon was back on the east side, giving food and Christmas gifts to more than 50 families. Sheldon played high school football at Warren Central. His NFL career brought him back home this summer, now on the Colts roster. He talked to us about what it means to help out in a neighborhood where he grew up.
I created a company called the Players Company, and its initiative or its focus is to show athletes on the bigger side, show them outside of their sport. And we came up with the idea of toys for teens or toys for people who are mostly forgotten about. And we kind of ran with the idea, got some big partners on board, and we're just thankful for the opportunity and to be able to hand out food, hand out gifts, and also give back to this side of the city. It's just a great opportunity, and to give back the Christmas time when you should be thankful and be blessed and things like that. So I'm a blessed individual, so I would like to bless others, and I got an opportunity to give them their wish list, which is top 5 gifts that they really want. Went out, shopped, did all of that stuff. It was a fun time. I shopped for a little girl for the first time, so it was a cool experience for me.
We love to see and hear that. Thank you, Sheldon. The Colts play in Pittsburgh this Sunday. We'll be right back.
Puffs, indeed.
Finally tonight, checking in on Santa, and we're so excited about this. According to NORAD's Santa tracker, he's headed toward Indianapolis right this moment. Can you believe that? He was just last in Hurricane West Virginia, but right now he's on his way to Indy. He's delivered almost 6 million gifts so far. NORAD's commander says not to worry, the big guy is taking COVID-19 safety precautions.
Well, Santa Claus has been doing this for many, many years, as you know. And he's been through pandemics before and challenges all around the globe. I'm 100% confident that Santa Claus knows exactly how to stay safe. He's very fast, and I'm confident that he and his team will remain safe.
He says Santa typically visits homes between 9 p.m. and midnight, so any kids who are still up trying to keep track of him, you should call it a night, especially since it's headed right here. Kevin?
Oh, I better wake up. Okay, I've unwrapped Christmas Day for you. Temperature of about 19 or 20, but with some afternoon sunshine. Merry Christmas to all. Mark?
Merry Christmas and good night. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you now with the rest of a Santa's Trek. Have a good night, everybody.